On Monday, President Donald Trump, in concert with Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., publicly cautioned pregnant individuals against using Tylenol, acetaminophen, citing an unproven link to autism. During a White House news conference, Trump stated firmly, "Taking Tylenol is not good," and urged pregnant women to avoid the medication unless absolutely necessary for severe fevers. This announcement, which also included a plan for the FDA to notify doctors about the association, immediately sparked concern and pushback from major medical organizations, including the American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, ACOG, and the Society for Maternal-Fetal Medicine, SMFM. These groups and others have long held that Tylenol is a safe and effective treatment for pain and fever during pregnancy, and they warned that avoiding it could lead to dangerous complications from untreated fevers. The statement also included a call for major changes to infant vaccination schedules, further amplifying public health concerns. Analysis of reasons and consequences. The administration's promotion of this unproven link is driven by a complex interplay of scientific debate and political strategy. Scientifically, the claim is based on a number of observational studies that have shown a statistical association between prenatal acetaminophen exposure and an increased risk of neurodevelopmental disorders. However, as medical experts and a new, large-scale Swedish study have pointed out, correlation does not equal causation. Other factors, such as the underlying illness or fever that prompted the Tylenol use, a mother's genetics, or other environmental factors, could be the true cause of the neurodevelopmental disorder, making the observed link to Tylenol a spurious one. A federal judge recently dismissed hundreds of lawsuits against Tylenol manufacturers for this exact reason, finding that the scientific evidence was not strong enough to be admissible. Politically, the move aligns with the administration's broader agenda, driven in part by Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who has a long history of promoting discredited theories about vaccines and other public health issues. The administration's focus on uncovering environmental causes for autism and their push for natural motherhood without medical intervention appears to be a calculated effort to appeal to a specific base of voters who are distrustful of traditional medicine and pharmaceuticals. By focusing on a solution to autism, the administration may also be attempting to gain political traction on a highly emotional issue while sidestepping more fraught vaccine-related debates. The maker of Tylenol, Kenvue Inc., saw its stock fall by 7.5% after the announcement, wiping out billions in market value, and highlighting the immediate economic consequences of such high-profile, unsubstantiated claims. The consequences for public health could be severe. The primary danger is that the public, particularly pregnant women, will become confused and fearful, leading them to avoid a medication that is still widely considered safe and often necessary. Untreated fevers during pregnancy, especially in the first trimester, are known to be a significant risk factor for a range of adverse outcomes, including miscarriage, birth defects, and preterm birth. The administration's firm warnings could lead to a rise in these preventable complications. The episode also risks further eroding public trust in established medical and public health institutions like the FDA and CDC. When a presidential administration champions a position that is at odds with the consensus of the medical community, it creates a climate of uncertainty and misinformation that makes it harder for healthcare providers to deliver effective care and for the public to make informed health decisions. Prediction and solutions. Looking ahead, it is likely that the Trump administration will double down on its new public health platform, with President Trump and Secretary Kennedy continuing to make similar announcements that challenge established medical consensus. However, the scientific and medical community will continue to push back with evidence-based information. The FDA's planned notice to doctors, which is more measured than the president's public statements, may serve as a compromise, recommending a precautionary approach, using the lowest effective dose for the shortest duration without outright declaring a causal link. The best path forward requires a multi-pronged approach. First, public health officials, medical organizations, and healthcare providers must continue to communicate clearly and consistently, emphasizing the established scientific consensus on Tylenol's safety during pregnancy and the very real dangers of untreated Second, further rigorous, large-scale scientific research is needed to fully disentangle the complex factors at play, moving beyond simple observational studies to more robust analyses, such as the sibling-based studies that have already cast significant doubt on the link. Finally, healthcare providers have a crucial role to play in reassuring their patients, answering their questions, and providing individualized medical advice based on the most current and sound evidence, thereby counteracting the fear and misinformation generated by these types of announcements.